Sumi.
You just said during your press conference that you want to welcome more people to the Toyota family. It's just a busy time that's been changing with lots of new offerings in the market. What are some of your plans to do that this year?
Yeah, so great question. So multicultural is obviously a huge focus for us. When you look at Highlander represents a third of our sales, so that's a big area for us to focus on and try to bring in those buyers. Younger buyers as well are a key focus. So you'll see with XSE, with Nightshade, those tend to bring in, even Trail Edition will bring in a younger buyer. So those are really, I'd say, the two areas that we're focused on.
We've talked a lot about trucks and SUVs, Texas State Fair here and everything like that. A lot of special editions have come along over the years, but in the lifespan of the Tundra, there's been multiple generations of competitive trucks. I'm curious on the commitment to trucks and where we are in a next generation truck for Tundra to compete against the competition.
Well, I can start it off by saying we are committed to trucks, and stay tuned. These two guys are working up in TTC Ann Arbor and working with across to try to work on our life cycle management and next generation of trucks, but our commitment is rock solid. But I will also say that we're still committed to cars. And with all-wheel drive variants in the Camry and Avalon, we're working on other potential all-wheel drive variants. We still believe in the car business, but our commitment to it is not going to waver with trucks. You guys want to make a comment about it?
Yeah, I would just add to that. I think now more than ever, we have a really strong focus on trucks. And as you suggested, some of our life cycle management has been a little bit longer in the truck market. But I think what you're really seeing here is evidence of our increased commitment, because as these vehicles are even going longer in their life cycle, we're doing more and more. So we saw the 20 model year minor model change in the Tacoma we just launched. And still, for 21, we're bringing a new product, and then we've got more to come. So overall, I think that we recognize the importance, and we also recognize about how do we want to continue to evolve the product. And so we're starting to look at areas like, for example, the Nightshade. We talked about attracting sort of a younger buyer. Our DNA has always been based on our QDR. We've sort of fashioned ourselves as a rough and off-road sort of rugged truck, and we wanted to bring a little bit of sophistication. And so Nightshade was that opportunity to find a little bit of a balance for the person who still really values that off-road and that rugged sense, but bringing it off of the limited grade and bringing a little bit more sophisticated image.
Just to follow on that, the commitment to trucks, I feel like you're implying, so I want to be clear, did the life cycle of this truck go longer than intended, and do you feel that are we ramping up the life cycle to move faster because this is now so long in its age?
Yeah, I don't know that it was longer than intended, but certainly we're watching as the market is shifting right now, right? We see the bigger demand, and obviously, even as we've seen competition, I'm thinking more of the compact segment right now, we see the competition coming back into the compact segment. I mean, we've owned that sort of marketplace, or at least done very well in that particular segment for many years. We see the competition coming in, and the segment isn't getting smaller, it's actually expanding. So with that increased competition, we're also seeing obviously market growth. We're very excited about that. So that just, again, fuels our need to say, yeah, we need to make sure that we're bringing a little bit faster cadence and bringing new product to market sooner.
Well, and I was going to kind of ask the same question, but basically along these lines, so the domestic competition in trucks has probably in the last 20 years shortened the life cycle of F-Series and Silverados and Rams. Do you see that as unnecessarily short, given the nature of what the truck market is?
Yeah, I think you need to take a balanced approach. Certainly, we recognize that probably with the market shifting more to trucks and SUVs, we need to get a little bit more proactive and bring the product to market sooner. I think we still have a really good product that we're really proud of, but there's areas, especially in the full size, like in the area of fuel economy, that we need to do more. And we are very much focused on making sure that we're addressing those areas and making sure that our product is competitive, especially in the full size segment. I think you brought it up. We're seeing a lot of activity, and so we recognize that this is a very important place, and we want to maintain our position in that segment. So we're going to continue to update our product to make sure that we're keeping pace.
And then a question for Ed. You were talking about commitment to cars and that you're happy taking your share of the auto market versus trucks and SUVs 25 to 30%. But we're seeing some data now that show that perhaps the SUV segment has plateaued, that maybe sedans are coming back. Do you see any evidence of that? Do you have any opinion of whether that's true, whether that's happening?
Well, as you know, compared to the industry, we're running still a little bit hotter on cars than we are on trucks and SUVs. Some of that is the portfolio, but also some of it is the fact that we're still committed to cars. And what we see on the marketing side of the house is we're appealing to even some Detroit brands, that people that just still want cars. And but our dealers are really responding really well to talking about this all-wheel drive variant for Camry and also for Avalon. So we're going to see how that happens in the market. We've been asking these guys for a long time to continue to work on that, so we're just happy that we can do that. As I said this morning, I think if you look at it, you go, so it's a decent industry, let's say is 16 million. If it ends up 75-25 and you got 4 million units of car business, I'm happy to work in a where we have, that we're primary, maybe we get 1 million out of 4 million, I'm happy with that, that's great.
So some of your competitors have numbers about people who customize their trucks and SUVs after they purchase them. Do you have any numbers that speak to how many people will take their brand new Tundra and take it right to the body shop and paint the wheels black and put a black applique on the truck somewhere? Do you have any numbers that suggest that? And then associated with that, what's your anticipated take rate for some of these special editions that you announced today?
Yeah, so on the special editions, we definitely see a decent take rate. I think we're looking at on Trail Edition will probably be 4 to 5%, and Nightshade 2 to 4% mix on those. So definitely something I'm trying to tap into that buyer that wants the more accessorized and special vehicle. Are you, as far as, do you have any sense on the other part of the question?
Well, I think our last number said something like the aftermarket was, including fluids and some of the others, something to the tune of $40 billion. It's a huge market, right? And we're also seeing the emergence of a lot of trends. We're seeing not only the performance style that we've seen with our TRD Pro, but we're also starting to see this overland becoming more and more exciting. We're seeing that, at SEMA, we're seeing it in a lot of different places. As a truck person, as a car person, I'm super excited because we're getting back to that sort of era where people are really excited about their vehicles, and they're actually taking their vehicles and then they're building and modifying it. And so what we're really trying to do in these cases is to really tap into that, outdoor adventure enthusiast. For example, on our Trail Edition, it doesn't quite go as far as our TRD Off-Road, but for the person who wants to go outside and enjoy fishing, it's the perfect scene that we just showed. Riding the trails. Wasn't a lot of tactical rock crawling there, but this really gives them another platform for where they can get the OE vehicle and then start to build on it. So we're really excited about that. And then obviously we're starting to make some complementary component parts from our accessory division, OE based. You saw the cooler that we're putting in. It's just kind of cool to have a bespoke 40-quart cooler that matches your 4Runner. The lockable storage is another way to say not everybody likes the tonneau cover. If you want to put a motorcycle in there but you still want to be able to lock up your goods and the tie straps and maybe a cold beverage after you've ridden. You want to make sure that you have that sort of capability. So again, it's about functionality and really allowing our customers to imagine how they want to use their truck. And we're just trying to give them more options to better realize that.
Ed, this morning you mentioned that we'll be seeing all-wheel drive across your mainstream car lineup. How quickly can we expect to see some of that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that
All-wheel
last part.
drive.
How quickly? All-wheel drive will come out this year in Camry and Avalon, and then we're also studying other models as well.
Corolla.
Going back to trucks.
Thank you.
It's America. Good job, Joel. They're fun. A lot of domestic competition is talking, they have mild hybrid, they have plug-in hybrids coming, they're going electric, there's a lot of electric trucks coming. I know Toyota's changed its stance a lot on electrification over the last couple of years. There's electric cars coming, we got hydrogen fuel cells. We haven't really talked about electrification pickup trucks. I'm curious where you guys stand on that. Do you feel the marketplace is for that? What you're doing about that?
I think it's, I think it's a really pertinent question. I think it's a pertinent question to this particular segment. We have been bullish on electrification for long before it was cool to be bullish on electrification. And we look at it as a sort of, as you I think sort of alluded to, across an entire platform of solutions. I think we said, indirectly that by 2025, all of our vehicle lines would have some form of electrification. And so we continue to look at what is the right fit for each of our products. Obviously, I can't speak specifically to what we're going to be doing in our future products, but absolutely, it's really important that we have the electrified powertrains, and we start talking about that. To me, it's an interesting segment, right? Because maybe historically electrification was sort of taboo to talk about here. It was, there's no replacement for displacement. That's kind of the way of thinking, and we've got some great vehicles out there. But as we start to look to the future, I mean, one of the great things about electrification, electric motors, right, is torque on demand. And it's what's near and dear to our truck and SUV customers. So how we go with the best way to integrate that, I think is going to be very important. The segment itself is actually quite fascinating, at least from my perspective. The truck segment has really, truly, if you think about it from its inception, which you go all the way back, maybe it was like the horse was the powertrain, right? We had a two-person sort of cart with that was your cabin, and then you had the bed. We've watched it go to what we saw in the 70s and the 80s, and now to this fully equipped Crew Max with all the creature features becomes a family hauler. So more so than I think any other segment, we've seen this segment reimagine itself and re-envision itself, and we imagine that's going to continue to happen through the electrification of the powertrain and as we continue to move forward.
So just to be a little more pointed on it, do you, because electrification by 2025, I got that, for a pickup truck, specifically a full size, do you view a marketplace for electric pickup trucks that you want to be a part of?
I think the answer is electric, yes.
Do you would it be practical to consider hydrogen fuel cells for a pickup truck?
Yeah, absolutely. We've looked at it across the range, and actually really when we get down to the full size, where we see that's sort of, I think, a good separating point. Where we're looking for long range and still having that power, FC is definitely a viable option. I know many of you have probably followed us. We talk about our Portal project. Really, that was a proof of concept. We really took the two Mirai vehicles, right? We took their little power plants, put those into a Class 8. And what we really showed, we can book it in. We can do it in a pass car. We can put two of these, put them together, and we can do this in a Class 8 semi-truck. And what we're trying to show based on that sort of experiment is that is truly scalable all the way down. And all the activity that's taking place now and the expansion of that to our beta and our gamma programs that are happening out in California are really setting the path for how we could imagine that and scale that into the pickup truck segment. But as it stands right now, do we have concrete plans? Nothing that I can point to for a date or talk about right now.
And again, understanding that you're not talking future product, would you continue to rule out a heavy-duty version of the Tundra in the future?
Would we continue to rule it out? That's an interesting market. Right now, we do very well in the half-size area. We have a very good comfort base in there. At this point in time, we haven't really looked seriously into whether or not we want to go that far. So as it stands right now, that's not something that's in our immediate future.
Just to delve on the fuel cells on pickup trucks, we'll talk about that. Do you see a need for a battery electric, all electric pickup truck in the full size market in the Toyota lineup? Or do you think a fuel cell could be all you need?
Well, again, I think we have to take a look at how the market evolves, and obviously that depends a lot on battery technology, right? To be very clear, it still seems from our perspective, from the cost of batteries and in terms of their efficiency and their performance, battery electric is full battery electric. That's a tough hill to sled down. And I think we are developing technology so that we can be somewhat agnostic to which is the lead technology, but be prepared to offer a technology that's suitable to the particular market demands. So really this is about matching what is it that your customer is asking for and how do you best do that in a way that's affordable to them. So some of these solutions might be very high-end, very costly solutions. That's not necessarily the best lineup for our market. So again, we're going to continue to study what we think is sort of the best for our particular market.
In addition to overlanding, off-road racing is enjoying a big comeback right now, and there was a period of time where Ivan Stewart and Toyota just wrote the playbook in Baja racing in that end of the world. Any thoughts about coming back in to off-road racing at this point in a more public way, more supportive way?
Yeah, it's really tough to say. I think racing is coming together all across the planet in different variants. The cost of going to racing obviously is very prohibitive in many cases. NASCAR's going through transformation, IMSA's going through transformation, massive transformation, IndyCar, all those. So I think stay tuned on that as that whole thing comes together. But you got to bring the cost down and to be able to bring some fresh people into the sport, some fresh ownership into these sports, and that's the only way that it's ever going to survive across the planet.
With the plant in Mexico producing Tacomas now as of December, are you anticipating consumer pushback on now all Tacomas being built in Mexico?
Well, the short answer is we've been building Tacomas in Mexico for quite some time now in our Baja facility. Obviously, San Antonio was building a portion of those as well. And from our standpoint of view, it's the same Toyota quality, the same standards we hold, the same suppliers that we're using. So the short answer is no, I don't think so. I think that this is still a vehicle that is, many of our supply base are still sourced here within North America. Final assembly happens to be taking place in the Guanajuato facility. But again, same exact standards. And honestly, when we look at our quality, when we look at the performance, I think the data shows that, you know, agnostic of plant location, Toyota quality, the standards that we set for ourselves, they ring true.
Do you guys feel that a twin turbo V6 has a place in the full-size pickup truck?
I'm sorry, so do we feel that a twin turbo has a place?
Twin turbo V6, yeah. Instead of a naturally aspirated V8.
This is a naturally aspirated V8 today, yes, that's true.
Yes. Do you feel a twin turbo V6 can replace that and has a place in a full-size pickup truck?
I think as we look at increased fuel economy, I mentioned that's one of the areas that we're looking to improve. We believe that there is a path forward with a reduced displacement and obviously increasing boost, whether that's a single turbo or a double turbo, right? That remains to be seen. But yeah, obviously, I think there is within the market, especially the full-size market, I think folks were nervous about that, and I think that we've seen that the market is actually quite responsive. At the end of the day, it's our job to make sure that the response and the performance is transparent. So how we achieve that with our customers, we think that there's a pathway forward, because really at the end of the day, what are you looking for? You're looking for your measurables, you're looking for your fuel economy, you want that truck feel, you want that torque, you want that performance and acceleration, that capability. So how we deliver that, I think, is going to be really the judgment of the powertrain units.
Back to manufacturing a little bit, but moving the Tacoma from San Antonio is going to free up a lot of capacity. And currently you're selling about 9,000 units of Tundras a month, and moving the Sequoia down there is going to suck up some of that capacity. But do you anticipate, like, the next generation Tundra or whatever's going to happen there to really fill that plant? I know that plant's running on a flex day scheduling for many years, and I wonder if you're going to dial back that maybe production a little bit, or if you really anticipate that plant's going to be full capacity still, even without Tacoma there, basically at the 50-50 split with the Tundra.
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit difficult to talk about overall, but fundamentally, yes, the whole purpose of the restructuring and the expansion of our production capacities for years with Tacoma, our problem was frankly capacity. We were bumping our heads on our capacity ceiling. We've done a lot of upgrades in the BC plant to help us get to where we are today. So we do think, like I said, in the compact segment, there's some room for growth there. And then naturally, what we've seen is the sort of shifting of our production facility really to optimize our manufacturing footprint within North America. Our F-platform trucks are now centrally located within Texas, a great place to be. And then, of course, all of our supply base working to get some common synergies and improve efficiency down within that sort of radius of Mexico and Texas.
Do you think that's going to impact Highlander as well, and being from Indiana, moving Sequoia out, you have more capacity there?
Luckily, yes. So with
You just had to answer the question for a while. I figured I'd get you.
yeah, I think Sheldon's able to take a lot for the trucks. You can see his passion and commitment to trucks, but SUVs are also very strong for us. So offering the new XSE also shows that we want to offer something new for our customers and keep those customers committed to Highlander and interested in that vehicle. So if you were able to drive Highlander last fall in Texas for the press preview, this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more sportier feel that the XSE we're offering today. So I'm excited to bring that out today.